بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وعن أبي يحيى سهيب بن سنان رضي الله عنه قال قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. This is a narration of Abu Yahya Suhaib bin Sinan radiallahu ta'ala. This Sahabi was known as Rumi because the Romans had taken him as a captive and they had imprisoned him. Later on, one person from the tribe of Kal, he had purchased this person and he brought him to Madinatul Munawwara. When he brought the Sahabi to Madinah Sharif, at that time also he was not a Muslim. Hazrat Abdullah bin Ja'dan radiallahu ta'ala anhu, he had then purchased him and he set him free. After he set him free, he became a trader in Makkah al-Mukarramah. Later he made hijrat and he went to Madinatul Munawwara with Hazrat Ali radiallahu ta'ala anhu. It is mentioned when he went to Madinah Sharif, he had participated in all the expeditions with Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And as Umar radiallahu ta'ala had a lot of love for this Sahabi, he held him in very high regard. When Umar radiallahu ta'ala was performing the Fajr Salah and he was stabbed at the time of Fajr Salah, Umar radiallahu ta'ala couldn't continue with the Salah. So he said this Sahabi, he put him forward and he told him, you continue with the Imamat. And he continued with the Imamat at the time of Umar radiallahu ta'ala. So this Sahabi, he narrates, Ajaban li amri al-mu'min. That's strange, how excellent is the matter of a mu'min and a believer. Inna amrahu kullahu lahu khair. That verily the matter of a believer, every matter of his is only goodness in it. That a mu'min, whatever condition he goes through, there's only goodness for a mu'min. وَلَيْسَ ذَلِكَ لِأَحَدٍ إِلَّا لِلْمُؤْمِنِ. And that is not for anyone except a mu'min, a person that has iman. Only for him every matter is goodness. In asabathu sarra shakara fakana khayrallah. That if he enjoys happiness, then he makes shukr to Allah tabaraka wa ta'ala. And if some difficulty, some hardship has to afflict him, then he makes sabr at that time, fakana khayrallah, and that is good for him. So when there's happiness also, there's goodness for him. And when he goes through a little bit of difficulty, then also there is goodness for a mu'min. But only a person of iman can enjoy this. A kafir, on the other hand, when there's happiness for him, he doesn't even make shukr to Allah tabaraka wa ta'ala. And when he goes through difficulty, he goes through hardship, the only thing that you hear from a kafir is complaining. Whereas for a mu'min, at every time, he is happy with the decision of Allah. The next hadith, وعن أنس رضي الله تعالى عنه قال لما ثقل النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم جعل يتغشاه الكرب. Hazrat Anas رضي الله تعالى narrates that when Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when his health began deteriorating, جعل يتغشاه الكرب, then the pangs of death now began overpowering Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. This refers to the final moments of Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam. Just before Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam passed away, his health began deteriorating and he started experiencing the pangs of death as well. فقالت فاطمة رضي الله تعالى عنها. At that time, Hazrat Fatima رضي الله تعالى عنها said, وَكَرْبَ أَبَتَا. That how painful are the pangs of death upon my father. How much of love Hazrat Fatima radiallahu ta'ala had for Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wasallam. When Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam used to go to visit Hazrat Fatima radiallahu ta'ala and she would be sitting, she would get up from there immediately and she would take Nabi alayhi salam and say, you sit here in this particular place. And she gave birth to Hazrat Hassan and Hussein radiallahu anhuma. How much of love Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam had for these two young boys. So you can imagine the connection the father and daughter had. So at the time when she sees him going through this difficulty, at that time she said that, what pain my father is going through at the time of what pangs of death he is experiencing. So Nabi alayhi salam faqal, Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, لَيْسَ عَلَىٰ أَبِيكَ كَرْبٌ بَعْدَ الْيَوْمِ. There will be no pain upon your father after this day. This is the last day that your father is going to be going through pain. فَلَمَّا مَاتَ قَالَتْ. When Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam had now passed away, he left the world, then Hazrat Fatima radiallahu ta'ala said, Ya abata ajaba rabban da'a. That, oh my beloved father, you responded to Allah tabaraka wa ta'ala who called you. That our lifetime in this dunya is stipulated, and when that comes to an end, Allah ta'ala calls us. We all have to return to Allah tabaraka wa ta'ala. So she said, oh my beloved father, you responded to Allah tabaraka wa ta'ala when Allah ta'ala called you. Ya abata jannatul firdausi ma'wa. Oh my beloved father, that Jannatul Firdaus is your abode. Allah Ta'ala give us all Jannatul Firdaus. We thought in the hadith also, when we make dua for Jannatul Firdaus. This is the highest Jannat. It is in the middle of Jannat also, and it is at the peak as well. Where Jannatul Firdaus ends, the roof of Jannatul Firdaus, from there the Arsh of Allah Ta'ala starts. So that is the highest point that is in Jannatul Firdaus. And every type of fruit, every type of vegetable that you can imagine that is in a garden, Allah has put all that in Jannatul Firdaus. So we should make dua always for ourselves, our families and the ummah also, that Allah gives all Jannatul Firdaus. So she said, that is your abode, O my beloved father. Ya abata ila Jibreel nan'a. Oh my beloved father, we will inform Jibreel alayhi salatu wasalam that now you are no longer in the world, you have left the world already, that he is to come down with wahi. There's no need for him to come anymore. Who is going to pass the wahi over to? So we'll inform Hazrat Jibreel alayhi salatu wasalam. What is the meaning of Jibreel? Jibreel actually means the servant of Allah tabaraka wa ta'ala, or it means the servant of Rahman. That is the meaning of Jibreel. فَلَمَّا دُفِنَ قَالَتْ فَاطِمَةُ رَضِيَ اللَّهُ عَنْهَا. When Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam was now buried, he passed away, and Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam was buried. Who performed the janaza namaz of Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam? So no particular sahabi was appointed to perform the janaza namaz of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Every person came individually, and every person performed the janaza namaz of Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam individually. So when Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam was now buried, then Fatima radiallahu ta'ala said, "Atabat anfusukum an tahsu ala Rasulillahi sallallahu alaihi wasallam at-turab." She said that, are you feeling happy now? Are you feeling good now that you have placed upon or poured upon Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam sand? She was going through those motions at that time of her life. She lost her beloved father. So that Anas radiallahu anhu, she addressed him particularly. He is a narrator of the hadith, that do you people feel good? You put sand upon Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He didn't respond at that particular time. But obviously the answer was there. How can they ever be happy that sand is placed upon Nabi alayhi salam? Umar radiallahu anhu couldn't tolerate at that time that to hear also that Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam has left the world. He said, if anyone said that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam has passed away, I will behead that person. At that time, Abu Bakr radiallahu ta'ala, Allah reward him. See the sohbat of Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, where he took Abu Bakr radiallahu ta'ala. He stood up at that time and he said, وَمَا مُحَمَّدٌ إِلَّا رَسُولٌ. Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is only a Rasul of Allah ta'ala. قَدْ خَلَتْ مِنْ قَبْلِهِ الرُّسُلُ. Many Rasuls have passed. They all had to leave the world. So Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam has also left the world. At that time, Hazrat Umar radiallahu ta'ala said, I felt that that verse didn't exist. That is only that this time that verse of the Quran Sharif was revealed. And understood at that time it is a reality. Nabi alayhi salam also has to leave the world. So from here we understand that Nabi alayhi salam, he was the beloved of Allah. Allah Ta'ala didn't have to put him through difficulty at the time of death. But at the time of death, he also went through difficulty. And through this, Allah Ta'ala elevated the stage of Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam even further. And Hazrat Fatima radiallahu ta'ala, she also went through difficulty when Nabi alayhi salatu wasallam was leaving the world. So at some stage of our life, a mu'min and a believer, he goes through some difficulty. He goes through some hardship. And at that time, a person, he makes sabr, Allah Ta'ala will elevate the status of that person. We'll continue.